This time in Year 12 Physical Education, students have been given the opportunity to choose their own position on the volleyball court in order to see what factors may have affected this decision. For the second year playing school volleyball, I have chosen to play as a passer-hitter. Several factors have affected my decision to choose this position, which will be highlighted later on. Games analysis plays an integral role in the improvement of an individual at any stage in their sporting life. As written by Mesdros, games analysis refers to the collection of relevant data or details of performance. It is the next step in designing appropriate training programs and can provide a thorough analysis of the physical requirements of a particular sport. The information gained from games analysis is used to improve both individual and team play by pinpointing the exact issues of the performance of a skill. In order to reflect on my improvement thus far in the volleyball term, and to continue showing improvement, I will thoroughly scrutinise my performance of an underarm pass and an overarm pass, and compare this performance against that of an expert's. I will also scrutinise the training sessions that I have come up with, in order to evaluate how effective they were in the improvement of my personal skills and of my other team members. I have chosen to play as a passer-hitter for my final practical assessment. My decision to play in this position has been heavily weighted upon my past experiences with volleyball at an inter-school level, and the beliefs and values acquired by a form of socialisation. My opportunity to be involved in the sport is primarily due to factors influenced by the individual level of Figueroa's framework. Within the context of this framework, the individual level explores the links between the personal values, attitudes, and beliefs of an individual and the access and equity experienced by that individual. Having been introduced to the game of volleyball in Year 7 by Mr. Donnelly, it was suggested to me that I train as a passer-hitter to develop an all-rounded skill set before branching off into a position that could potentially suit me better. However, we both recognised that I did not have the most perfect set or the most perfect pass, which cut out the positions of both libero and setter. However, when combined, these better-than-average skills led me to continue playing as a passer-hitter, ultimately influencing my decision to then play this position in physical education assessment. I believe that my personality type of intuitive, as based on the work of Isabella Bolger, has also influenced my position of choice. The personality preference of intuitive is described by Myers-Briggs as a person who focuses on the future, with a view towards patterns and possibilities. A predominant part of playing a successful game of volleyball depends on being able to recognise trends and patterns in the gameplay of the opposition in order to set up the receive accordingly. It is for this reason, then, that passer hitters have been recognised to perform better with an intuitive mentality. As an example, an intuitive player will notice how a serve continues to fall just short of their reach, resulting in poor passes. They will recognise this trend and adjust accordingly by taking a step forward so that they can receive the pass in their arms much more easily. In the end, it was my personal choice that determined my level of participation in volleyball. However, by using my knowledge of the Myers-Briggs personality scale and recognising the beliefs and values of Mr. Donnelly that has influenced my involvement in volleyball, I have decided to play as a passer-hitter for my practical assessment. My initial performance of an underarm pass was somewhat disjointed and undependable. Although I have been taught the correct technique for 5 years now, carrying out this skill in a class situation was much harder than I thought. I have put this down to my lack of concentration during class. As stated by Mesdros, concentration is the ability to maintain attentional focus to relevant environmental cues. External distractors come in many forms, one of which is the use of a camera. Although it is necessary to record my performance for games analysis purposes, having a camera pointing at you does lead to a sense of insecurity, which allowed my attention to sway from perfecting my technique, which in turn led to many missed passes. Mesdros has also stated that being able to concentrate has been shown to be critical for effective performance. It was therefore essential that I learn ways to block out this external distractor in order to perform to the best of my ability. I did this by creating performance routines for myself that would lead me to gather my thoughts and focus purely on the task at hand. Not only was I struggling with my concentration and distractors, but my technique also needed improvement. When analysing game situations, Mesdros advises that video evidence and statistical recording is the most accurate method of athlete analysis. The advantage of video evidence is that it can provide immediate feedback or can be viewed later for more comprehensive analysis. I have taken this advice to use video analysis to compare my performance to that of an expert's to see where I'm going wrong. Mesdros says that in order to achieve the highest level of momentum and therefore force on the ball, the law of summing momentum must be considered whilst preparing training sessions whilst training. Summing momentum is when the whole body needs to contribute, with the momentum of different parts of the body summed to achieve the highest possible control. As can be seen in the following images, my arms are straight and even, yet are swinging up past my shoulders, effectively losing my control of the ball. The expert shows us how by using the theory of summing momenta, the legs do most of the work and the arms are there only for contact with the ball. After analysing these videos of my performance, I have been able to create training programs and drills that accurately train what I need most, which is better technique. The main objective of my training plan was to improve my passing accuracy and increase the power of my hits. These drills were created to improve both my skill set and those of my team members. The first training session that I've written to be performed by my fellow teammates lacked individual specificity to cater for the lack of prior skills and knowledge each of my teammates had. Teach PE suggests that in order to improve a skill, training should be specific to the current skill acquisition level. By not adhering to my teammates' individual specificity needs, this training session was much too hard for students who identified themselves as being in the cognitive or associative stage of skill acquisition, which is where the learner develops an in-depth understanding of the skills to be acquired. They may not necessarily perform the skill well, but have an understanding of how to do it. As I wrote my second training session, I took this into account and made the session based upon my other teammates' necessities. We went back to basics for this session, focusing on the technique needed for an accurate hit. By breaking down the biomechanics behind the skill, I was able to teach my teammates how to better their performance. I talked through the skill step by step before showing them the correct way to hit the volleyball into the ground towards their awaiting partner. The Australian Sports Commission states that it is important to ensure there is enough time for participants to practice and experiment with activities. It was with this in knowledge that I left 5 minutes spare for us all to practice the newly learnt technique before continuing into the progression of the drill, where we put it into motion. By the end of the 15-minute drill, I'd observed considerable improvements in my skill and of my team. Not only was this drill beneficial for our personal improvement, but we were also able to develop our team cohesion by slowing down and concentrating on how we could all improve skills to maximise our potential as a team. After finishing school, I hope to continue playing volleyball at a club and will also be coaching students at St. Paul's School. With my gained knowledge, I believe that I can reflect what I have learnt into my training sessions to improve students' technique, ability to block out distractors, and to break down skills using biomechanics so that they can learn at whatever skill acquisition level they are currently in. I recommend that in order for me to continue improving over the next few months, I should keep coming back to watch my gameplay and analysing my technique. The training sessions that I wrote have been effective in improving my technique over the past term and have increased our team cohesion. At the beginning of the school term, statistics of my accuracy in accordance to my passing were taken. This video and evidence shows how my passes were inaccurate due to poor technique and a lack of concentration due to distractors. All three methods of games analysis have been used over the term to recognise where my strengths and weaknesses lie in order to improve my skills. These include observation plus statistical recording, and video evidence plus statistical recording. I have formed training drills based upon what I need to improve the most, and what my team members need to improve on as well. It can be seen in these videos that since the first videos were taken, my passes have become higher and loopier, more accurate, and more precise. My hits have increased in speed and accuracy, all thanks to the breakdown of mechanics in a hit. Overall, the use of the games analysis theory has aided me to improve all volleyball skills, whilst helping my team members improve as well.